Hello and thanks for joining me and welcome to another episode of Songs from the Saddle. I am currently riding in the Four Corners area of the United States. It's called the Four Corners because it's where the four southwestern states meet, Utah, Colorado, Arizona and New Mexico. So I'm actually currently in Arizona and I'm just riding into the Badlands area that's known as the Painted Desert, which you'll see quite clearly. It's just coming up in a couple of miles. It's called the Painted Desert because it's made up of this composite of stratified layers of there's mudstone and shale and siltstone and volcanic ash and I think probably some other things as well, and they're all different colours. So as it's eroded away, and of course those are all materials which erode away very quickly and easily, as it's eroded away it's left these fantastic small hills that they look like they've been painted in stripes, these different colours. Anyway, what I want to talk about today is touring in the USA from the perspective of being a Brit coming from the UK. And I just want to talk about then touring in the USA for Americans. So if you are a native, a resident in the United States, the difference. Because the USA is obviously vast, and it's very easy for us Brits to look with great envy on you here in the States because there's so much riding you can do here. Whereas in comparison, the UK is very small. I can ride from the very north of the UK, the tip of Scotland, all the way to the southernmost point in England. I can do all of that in one day if I push myself. And from where I live, riding from the east coast to the west coast is only 90 miles. That's right, you heard me right, 90 miles. I can have a little paddle in the sea on the east coast, and then less than 2 hours later, I can have a little paddle in the sea on the west coast. So the UK really is that small. So when we come over here as Brits, we just, amazed at how vast the US is. And if you live here, you'll never run out of places to ride and explore. But what I want to talk about is that can be a two-edged sword, by which I mean, it cuts both ways. It can both be a good thing and possibly a disadvantageous thing. So I'll say, my thoughts on it and see what you think to it. Because what I'm looking at is my experience of touring as a Brit, and the very first big tour that I did at the age of 18, I travelled across the Channel to Europe, and I travelled through Holland, Belgium, Germany, Switzerland, into Italy, and then back up through France. So just in the course of a 2-week tour, I passed through several different countries, all of which had different languages. Back then they all had different currencies. Of course they're all in the euro now, but back then they all had different currencies as well. Very different foods, very different cultures. And, as a young man, it was a wonderful eye-opening experience for me, getting out into the big world and just seeing other people in other countries and how they live. And I think that it's so important in opening your mind up to the world. And so you can see where I'm going with this, hopefully. I think that a big disadvantage for you, and I'm addressing people here if you're watching this and you live in the USA. Yeah, an advantage is you've got all of this fantastic riding to do, but the disadvantage is you've got no incentive to go overseas and go and ride in other countries. No, of course, I'm not saying that you never do, and I know lots of Americans go riding all over the world and ride in Europe and what have you, but, many don't, and I think you're missing out on something. So when I say I think you're missing out on something, obviously what I mean is you're missing out on that international, cultural aspect of touring. You're certainly not missing out on fantastic roads and fantastic scenery, and that's my point. You've got so many fantastic roads and so much fantastic scenery here that, you never need to go anywhere else. So I guess what I'm saying is, if you live in the USA, should you go other places? Is it important to go and travel in other countries and actually, use your motorcycle touring to go and explore other countries? Well, you may think not. We all tour for different reasons, don't they? But I'm just saying, I find personally it's one of the huge benefits that I've got out of motorcycle touring, and it just occurs to me that if you live in the USA, you kind of miss out on that. Anyway, I'm just going to stop because look to my right here, and you'll just see as just come around this corner, these are probably the most famous little hills here, and you can see quite clearly what I mean. There, look at that, with the stratified rocks. That is absolutely awesome, isn't it? So anyway, just some of my own personal thoughts there on motorcycle touring. Please let me know what you think. Do you disagree with me? Particularly if you are watching this and you live in the United States, I'd love to hear your thoughts on the subject. It's just very, very different experience for us as Brits. That's what I was trying to get across. So I just switched my camera back on again. Just want to say thanks for watching. Hope I've not offended anybody with that video. Certainly my intention. I just tried to make thought-provoking videos, certainly not offensive videos. Thanks very much for watching. Hopefully see you again. Bye.